on the new buoy. I was fortunate enough to grow up on a farm in Wairoa actually, but not your Wairoa, another Wairoa over in Hawke's Bay. So I am an import. So I am an import to the Bay of Plenty, but I've lived here for several years, well, 8 years or so now. My career, although I grew up on a farm, my career mostly has been in executive roles in both government and in private enterprise. And mostly in an IT sense, as it turns out. So I've run some really big projects for, one of my last role really was I was the Chief Information Officer for the Canterbury District Health Board, which ran all of the IT for the South Island. So fairly large jobs. But in that I also knew, I also was involved in some very expensive projects. So I sort of know how to get, but at a governance level. So I sort of know how to get things done. I now live in Mokoroa with Nancy, my wife, for 40 years, and I've got 2 grown-up kids that have left home some time ago. I'm currently the chair of the Mokoroa Community Board, so this means that I've had some introduction at least into the way that council works, and I'm full used to reading 300-page agendas and making some sense of it before a meeting. I hasten to add that the Mokoroa Community Board agenda is never 300 pages. I've got a history of service within my community. I'm a Justice of the Peace, I'm a marriage celebrant, I'm a Rotarian, active Rotarian. I coordinate the Anzac services out of the Mokoroa, so I'm quite active in my community. And I'm fairly confident that I've got reasonable support within that community for this election. You know, we currently have some very experienced councillors in this ward. In fact, I think I was a bit surprised at Margaret's comment, but I think at least a lot of them have done the 10 years, and I think it's time for some new blood. I think it's time for a new view of how these things stand, and for someone to stand up. But you can't just have anybody. You've got to have someone who understands what governance is. You've got to have someone who understands that you know, reporting can't be 3 monthly when you've got a $100 million budget. You know, you've got to have someone who actually can hold people accountable for their actions. So I think also working at executive levels, and that didn't last long. Working at executive levels, one skill I have got is I can work with council staff and fellow councillors to actually have a much more team approach to council and to decision making, and to provide some sort of leadership in those areas. So I really want to be part of making the Bay of Plenty the best Bay of Plenty it can be. Thank you.